huge, isn't it?
It's a fajova. It's a fajova. Imagine if for one of those.
G'day guys and welcome to our kitchen. We would have loved to take you where we were today, but we were so immersed in what we were doing that we didn't film. We spent 5 hours with the wonderful Steve at the Botanic Ark nursery in Warragul, and he is our wealth of information. If you are in Victoria, if you are in Australia and you are interested in plants, either for their beauty, for their medicinal purposes, for their culinary use, for their beauty, or for their genetic diversity, put it on your list to visit Steve. He is in his 70s, would you say? And the library that is in here is phenomenal. We just scraped the surface in 5 hours walking through his 5-acre property. It was just wonderful, and we can't wait to go back there. And I think we will in the coming weeks, because he is the most eccentric gardener that I've ever met. And I think we both have a little crush on his knowledge. But we wanted to show you what we gathered today, what he taught us. We're going to try and do it a little bit quicker than 5 hours. We're going to show you the plants that we got and why we got them. Okay, where do we start?
We'll start with one that's outside.
Which one's outside?
Black bamboo.
Oh, we didn't bring that inside.
It's too big. It's taller than the ceiling.
We got this massive, massive bamboo, and it's beautiful.
I love my bamboo, so it was very cool to get some black bamboo that's grown in this climate, so it should do quite well.
And we'll be using this, well, I hope that you'll let me use this in my garden to build structures like climbing frames for beans and peas, etc.
Stakes, small stakes to mark things out.
Yeah.
And, when it gets bigger, the bigger bamboo can be chicken perches or anything really. So, and it's pretty, and it's a bit of a windbreak, and it can also be animal fodder, and you can eat the young shoots as well. I've never tried them, but might be worth trying.
Okay. Next, we bought 2 pomegranate trees. We saw that our pomegranate that we bought from the Diggers Club didn't survive the drought. It was small, it was smaller than these. And it was a little bit of our fault because we didn't really water the orchard, but we really want everything to naturalize in there so we don't have to baby it, tend it. We just want it to kind of live like it would in the wild, if it would in a forest situation where it has its own food, water, and pest control. So we bought 2 more from Steve. These are not a known variety, so they're not a grafted or a commercial variety. They are one from his tree that is grown from seed, so we bought 2 of them at $6 each. They were $6 each, yep.
I think so, yeah.
And they are in a very similar climate. We're about 3 degrees cooler than he is because we're up in the hills, but hopefully these should do well on our property. What's next?
Get rid of the jar.
Okay, so we got 2 feijoas from Steve. I think this one was $10 and $12. So as you can tell, his prices are amazing, and from the knowledge that you get from this man, it's just, he really needs to charge for his time. He will not only just give you a healthy plant that's huge for its price, but he will tell you everything that you need to and don't need to know about it. It's really amazing. So feijoas are a great hedging plant. They're an evergreen, and they have the most delicious aromatic fruit. We love them. The kids adore them. We already have one, and you can propagate them from cuttings, but I believe Steve propagates them from seed. But yeah, these are bigger than the ones that we've got in the orchard already. So hopefully that will give us a little bit of a head start to get some fruit. Remember how much I paid for this? I think it was $10. This was either $8 or $10. It's huge, and it is a golden elderflower or elderberry. I have 2 elderberries. I thought I killed one through the drought, and then when I pulled it out to plant my new one, it may have already like shut up. But they are incredibly medicinal and useful culinary as well. So you can make champagne with them, you can make wine with them, you can make a syrup for coughs and colds, you can make cordials with the flowers. But the leaves are poisonous to stock. So if you do grow these, you need to grow them where your sheep and cattle cannot eat them, because yeah, they are poisonous. The leaves are poisonous, not the fruit and the flowers. And they're a golden elderberry because the tree is, the leaves turn a golden colour in, it wasn't necessarily autumn, I think it was spring. It was, yeah, they turn golden in springtime, so that's why they are golden. This here is a brambleberry, which is a large blackberry. I tried these at the market a couple of years ago, and they were absolutely delicious. So we look forward to harvesting some fruit from this. We all love our berries.
Indeed.
So this here is a Cornelian Cherry, and I bought a tiny one from the Diggers Club when we first moved onto the property, and I believe I paid about $10 for that. But when the cows broke in, they ate it. So I've been wanting to get one again, but when I went back to the Diggers Club, they didn't have any in stock.
Luckily.
Yeah, and we got this huge guy, 5 years old, for $20. He did have $25 on it, but he was very generous and said, I'll give this to you for $20. But we need to prune this because it is a little bit, you know, out of shape, and he did recommend that we prune it. And he said that we could grow a new plant from cuttings, and these do best with multiples to aid in pollination. So we hope to have several of these. They're a great fruit to preserve with and to cook with, and they make a great hedge. So we want windbreaks here because we get lots of winds, and if we can have natural fences or plants in front of the fences to act as a natural fence to deter the sheep wandering, well, that's even better.
Yeah, a lot of his plants are probably not the healthiest and bushiest plants that you've ever seen in your life, just because the amount of massive trees that he's got on this 5-acre block is the understory, the middle canopy and the above canopy is just hundreds of different trees, and you can see by all the leaf matter that's fallen on the floor, the ground was nice and soft and spongy and beautiful topsoil.
It's like its own forest in there.
But he was running out of room to plant things, so all these have been under the shade. So I'm thinking once they get out to the sun and they've had a bit of a prune, they're just going to flourish. But I mean, his plants are extremely healthy. It's just that he's running out of room with sunlight. Oak trees and then tons and tons of different trees.
Okay. This is, I'm gonna have to Google it.
Pomegranates orange.
This is the Asajj Orange, completely and utterly inedible. Why did we get it? It smelled like an orange. Not as strong, very mild. It's really sticky. It'll be stickier when we cut it. But we bought this because the tree is like a natural barbed wire. So we are going to propagate the seeds from inside this weird ball. And we are going to grow them along our boundary fence so our sheep can't escape. And so vegans can't come in. No, I'm going to edit that out.
Hopefully wombats branches are low enough.
I wonder if we'll keep the wombats out.
Depends how low the branches are.
Interesting. And so this will sucker. So where there is no plant in the hedgerow, it will sucker up and fill in the gap. Who wants to look inside it? I do.
Looks like a pineapple.
It does look like a pineapple. It smells amazing. I wonder why I can't eat it. Do you reckon I can lick it?
Ooh, that's got sap. I've just got some on my knife. You're going to turn a lot of people on, a lot of people off.
It doesn't taste bad.
It's probably poisonous.
I'm going to be dead tomorrow.
Last film.
Oh, look. It pulls apart like, what's that fruit called? The big, ugly, stinky one that smells like rubbish.
Not dragon fruit. Durian.
Durian. It kind of pulls apart like durian.
Is that a seed there? The dark bit?
I have no idea. That's weird. That's cool. So,
Here's a seed.
it is a seed. So we need to soak these in water for 24 hours before we propagate them. And there's like a long, complicated process. And that includes putting it in the fridge for 3 weeks, something like that.
3 months, wasn't it? One of them was...
One was 3 months. This one was 3 weeks, I think. So we'll see how we go. If we fail, we can always buy a plant off Steve. So, you know, that's weird. I just washed my hands. It's so sticky. Okay, the next thing we got given these juniper berries. Now Steve only had one in stock, and you need a male and a female to bear the spice, or the berry, the juniper berry. So we are going to try our hand at propagating these. Now it is complicated and far more advanced than we've ever gone in propagating anything. I think the most we've ever done is scarification of seeds like Tagasaski, and that was the way we did it was in hot water. And a few cuttings and literally just like cutting sticks and shoving them in dirt. So that's like the extent of our knowledge. But with the juniper berries, you need to soak them, I believe, and then you need to like put them in the fridge for 3 months, and then you need to pull them out, and you know, we'll get there. We'll explain what we do when we propagate them. I might do like a full video on beginning to end, but obviously that's going to take months to release that video. But we're going to have a play at propagating these juniper berries. The trees are gorgeous, and a 1 meter high tree can be 20 years old, which is just phenomenal. So hopefully we can get these to germinate. Now, the next thing we were given were these Chinese quinces. Now Steve gave us some of these at the market a fortnight ago, and we're going to take the seeds and we're going to try and germinate them. Apparently it's quite easy. We'll give it a go. I love quince, and they're very similar to the European quince, except that they are a larger fruit. And I found them easier to cut. I found the European quinces a lot harder, and I struggled to cut through them with my knife, where these were a little bit easier. And they're a better shape to peel. So yeah, I quite like them, and they're a great substitute. So, you know, you can steam them, braise them, bake them, and make a paste out of them as well. In here, we were given all these very generously. This, we believe, is a Japanese raisin tree. Now, they don't actually have, you know, obviously raisins are from grapes, and these don't bear a grape or a berry, or even a fruit like a raisin. They are kind of like a Y, a wooden Y, and that is the raisin. I don't have any on here to show you, but they are edible and sweet. This here is a mulberry of some sort. I believe it is an Egyptian mulberry, and it has a nice big berry on it, but I could be wrong. There were so many plants there and so much information to absorb, and he had several different mulberries, so I'm not entirely sure on the exact species of this. I'm just going to pull this out for the minute. This here is a boysenberry, which was a sucker that he generously cut off and gave us. This here is feverfew, which is a herb. I actually bought some seeds of this last week. I bought it for its medicinal purposes, and I'll go in depth in that in a different video. And this here is an oak tree, which leads us to the next lot of seeds that we got given. Steve has the most wonderful collection of oak trees. He has the most wonderful collection of trees, but he has a phenomenal amount of oak trees. We do want to go back and get a couple of varieties which we don't have, and we don't have here. One of them was the cork oak, which looks like a big cork on the outside. I don't think it is the cork tree where they would harvest the outside of the bark to make corks or cork flooring and other cork products, but it does look like a cork. And the other one was a snake bark cork, which had a beautiful pattern in it. But these here are a heap of different oak nuts. What are they?
Acorns? No.
Something like that. An acorn? Pretty sure. And we are going to propagate them. They are so easy to propagate. Literally just stick them in some dirt and they will grow. I remember when I was a child, I had this toy plastic flask, and we used to have an oak tree in our backyard or a neighbour's yard that overhung to our backyard. And one day I collected a heap of oak nuts, acorns, and I put them in this flask and I put the lid on, and I forgot about them. And a few months later I opened it up to play with it, and they had all sprouted, and my mum made me throw away the flask, and I was so sad.
Even in some of these pots that we've got, they've been the little acorns. Not this one, we've actually wrapped them up in wet towel to keep them alive, and they've got roots going down, so they've already just sprouted just by sitting on these pots, which is pretty cool. Yeah. Okay. The next lot of nuts and seeds that Steve gave us are these. This is the heart nut, and these, he believes, are the Japanese walnut. Am I right? Do you remember? And they are a beautiful tree, especially this time of year in autumn where the leaves are turning colour and they're starting to fall, but they have the most beautiful canopy, and so we are going to try and propagate these nuts. Steve also has the most wonderful collection of pine trees. He has beautiful Californian redwood trees, sorry. And the first time we ever saw a redwood tree was last weekend when we went to the redwood forest in Warburton East. And that was gorgeous, but he had several in his backyard and they were beautiful. But these are not from the redwood trees. These are from other pine trees, but he has many there. And we are going to crack them open and get the seeds and try our hand at propagating our own pine trees. Not sure what the variety is. I'm sure if we asked him, he would be able to tell. He could tell
from each acorn and each nut what it was and what genus it was. It was pretty amazing, the encyclopedia that's up here. But we don't mind varieties. I mean, he is there to preserve each genetic quality of each plant. We're here because we love the trees and we want to create a beautiful forest in part of our farm, and we want to create a beautiful edible landscape for us and our children and our children's children. What's next?
Carob.
Okay. Next are these carob pods. I didn't think we could grow these here. I thought it was too cold, but I've seen several places that grow them, and obviously he was growing them very successfully. So we are going to try a hand at growing them from the pods. Now, I believe we're supposed to let them dry in here until you hear them rattle. But then somewhere else I read said not to. So I'm not really sure. Maybe we'll do a bit of both.
Research.
But we will do another video on this another day, and I'll probably try the whole process again. So it'll be several months and you can see from beginning to end. And the last thing that we're going to show you, sorry it's been a long video, but seriously, 5 hours of amazingness, and we're trying to condense it down into 10 minutes. Whether that's successful or not. This here is a honey locust. Okay, and this is a permaculture tree that they talk about in all the permaculture books, yet the local councils say is a pest.
Mainly the thorned variety. This is the thornless. But yeah, it's a fast growing tree that can sucker if he was explaining where it's been overgrazed and all the topsoil's been washed away, and these trees are freestanding, they do sucker up from the roots when
over it.
Yeah, when the roots are exposed, but kept in an environment where there's an understory and mulch and the leaf litter is left in place, then they're quite a controllable tree. But you can use it for stock feed, human feed. You can grind these down, they say, with cornmeal, corn flour. You can make a nice sweet bread from it. So we'll give it a go. But again, it's another fodder tree for the animals in times of drought. These, will send down deep roots and be able to tap into the water. And when all the grasses are dying, we'll have the tagasaski and the honey locust and the oak trees and a few other plants that we can use for fodder for the animals.
And he also said to us that acorns are actually edible. There is a process that you need to go through to make it edible for human use. But say we went through a depression or a war or some sort of famine, and there were no other food sources available, we would have something like this on our farm that we could sustain ourselves and our animals on and survive. So they are a survival food. Maybe we won't need it in our lifetime, maybe we won't need it in our children's lifetime, but hopefully we plant this living legacy, and maybe it'll become a crop, a useful crop for survival down the track.
Just never know.
Don't know. But thank you so much for joining in on our journey and our exciting day. It was so much fun, and hopefully we get to go back there soon. We've got a list of other plants that we want to get from him, and hopefully one day we can take you along for the journey. I took a really short video and it shows the kids having a bit of fun searching for it shows the kids searching for feijoas, and you can see the beautiful forest behind them that he has created. Seriously, if you are in Victoria or Australia, please put it on your list to visit Steve at the Botanic Ark Nursery in Warragul.
Open Sundays or by appointment.
See you guys.
Look
There?
at, I'm just showing you.
It is huge, isn't it?
It's a feijoa. It's a feijoa. Imagine if for one of those. A